Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen, scream, and embrace your horror obsession. I want to wish everybody a happy new year as we start our season 2. And with that, we add a new co-host to the podcast, Joseph. I'm excited to cover the Babadook with him today. Join us as we talk about how the movie was funded, how the movie explores grief, and why is this movie either loved or hated. Next week on the podcast, Margo is back to cover The Purge. But for now, a movie that can even make a pop-up book scary, The Babadook.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host Elazar. I'm joined by a new host for our season 2, which is Joseph. Joseph, how's it going?
It's going well. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I'm excited to jump into the Babadook 2014.
Oh yeah.
So, I know this one's divisive. I hear people that either loved it or hate it, and I'd love to talk about my theories of why, and maybe your theories, which I think is interesting. It's written and directed by Jennifer Kent, and from what I can tell in all the special features, she hired all her friends. Some of them she went to the same film school with. Some people she knew her for years to just kind of play these roles, which I think was pretty fun. It had a budget of $2 million, and it made a box office of $10.5 million. So it made a profit, which is good for her. I don't know. Has she done anything else that I would know? I didn't even think about it.
I did look up some stuff, and I know I just actually watched it today, but there's a little about a 10-minute short film and that's kind of what she shopped around to try to get this movie off the ground on its feet.
Yeah.
Whatever the
Right.
analogy is.
I get it. Sure. It's kind of like how the VHS movies. So
Okay.
on the first one, it was Siren. It was this movie about these guys who were kind of just like being bachelors, going out trying to pick up women.
Dude
And-
bros.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
And-
remember the scene.
Yeah, and then so they made a whole movie called The Siren, and then the second one they made a movie based off the segment where the kids are just being goofy, and the sister's boyfriend shows up, and then aliens attack. They made a whole movie called Kids versus Aliens. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I've seen that short as well that she based this movie on. All right, so
Okay.
the movie starts with the actress S.C. Davis playing Amelia, who's the mom pretty much in this movie.
Yes.
She's going into labor. Her husband's driving the car, and the car crashes. We kind of see as she floats down towards the bed, and it's like she's having this dream sequence, and she relives this moment all the time.
Mhm.
And then she's woken up to her current nightmare, which is her son Samuel, who's played by Noah Wiseman. He says he had a bad dream again, goes to look under his bed, and then she's reading him the story of a bad wolf. And in there's a monster. He's saying that if a monster were to really come, it would smash his head in. She tells him it's bedtime, but he wants her to read one more time, and so she does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of clear, or at least I kind of picked up on it. I'm not sure. It seems like there's some trauma there already. You can kind of tell the way he's kind of trouble sleeping. Again, this is from a guy who does not have any kids, but I was not, that terrified as a child. But,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, I know. I would say that each child is different, and I would think my
Sure.
youngest is the most scared of monsters.
Okay.
He is currently the youngest, but I don't think like Joshua was watching The Walking Dead with us when he was 2 years old. Like he was just like, "Ooh, this is fun," and he's never not loved horror. And so the others I've had to convince slowly to watch things.
Okay.
So I could see that. Like he's just scared, and some kids are just scared.
Sure.
So he falls asleep, and she's still awake, laying next to him, and then we get the title card, The Babadook.
Go back to his sleep there. I think every time he falls asleep next to her, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like the attachment issues, which I think is a big part of it. It's like his hands around her neck and one of his legs is over her hip, just to show the fear, that this
Yeah.
child has and like the security that the mom gives him.
Yeah, and I think it's a problem for both of them, really, because she lost her husband. He's all she really has.
Hmm.
And because of, I mean, we'll get there eventually, but because
We
of
will.
all the trouble he has, her sister is not the most supporting person ever.
Yeah, I guess on that point, yeah, because like basically it said that basically he's 6 going on 7. So you learn later on as he tells a stranger in a short scene, fast forwarding a little bit, but that he was born the day his dad died. So you know how old the child is. He's about 6 going on 7 at this point, and he shares that a lot. And I think that's kind of why people think he's weird because I don't know, as a child, I would not know how to react to another child telling me that his dad died the same day he was born.
Yeah, it's kind of morbid,
It is very morbid.
and it is basically part of his main character, like who
hmm
he thinks he is.
hmm
Yeah. In the morning, she gets out of bed. The alarm's going off. We see Samuel's in the basement. He's trying to make something with some tools. Before she gets up, he returns the key to the basement. But then she's really woken up when she starts hearing these loud thuds. And she runs downstairs and sees he's wearing this like backpack type catapult, launching this. I don't know if it's a croquet ball,
That's what I thought. Yeah, croquet
right?
ball.
And he's launching the room. She tries to tell him to stop. He doesn't. He's like, no, he wants to show her. So he does one more. I think he breaks a window at this
He does
point.
break a window. Yes.
And it's just like she can't control her child.
You can't control her child, and it's clear that she's kind of like she's getting close to the edge. It's a single mom, and it's like probably she has a difficult time getting a good night's sleep, having to take care of
Right.
her child, and then the way he sleeps next to her when he does go to sleep, it probably affects her sleep. But yeah, you can tell the stress is getting to her, and that goes on to play more a vital role in this film for sure. So
Yeah, she's trying to get him ready for school. He wants to dress like a magician, and as she's trying to tie his shoes, he's trying to show her a magic trick, and he's getting more and more upset that she won't pay attention to him. He does do the trick, but she doesn't really seem to have the attention span to care about it right now. And she tells him like she's really serious, no weapons. She goes to drop him off at school, and we find out that she works in an elderly home, and one of her coworkers, Robbie, who is her friend, seems to be, to me, at least throughout this movie, that he wants to be a little bit more than friends.
yeah, scene later on will kind of pretty much signifies that. And yeah, it looks like I think you meet her boss also in that scene while she's at work, tending to the retirement elderly crowd.
Yeah, at one
Um,
point she's doing bingo, and
mhm,
she can tell they really don't care, or they can't hear her, and so she says something like,
50
uh,
billion or five,
yeah,
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 some
yeah,
large number.
and then her boss is right there, looking like disappointed at her.
Yeah, not happy about that little joke that went over everybody
Right,
else's head except the boss. But yeah.
exactly.
Oh, just about Robbie. Yeah, we'll go on to it, but basically, she is kind of in this funk where she does not seem to at least have much of a social life. So it's pretty
Right.
much her work, her sister Claire, and have we met the neighbor yet at this point?
I don't think so. Her
Okay.
name is Mrs. Roach.
Mrs. Roach, yes.
Right.
And those seems to be the only people that are kind of in her hectic life caring for a child with some sleep issues and then her work where it's definitely a job that needs to be done, but you don't probably get a lot out of it socially
Sure.
in the most part, where I think we as humans are social animals, right? So we definitely need that. And I think that's kind of, as the movie goes on, you kind of see how she's deprived in that regard. It's pretty much her and Samuel.
And then back to Robbie just for a second. I thought he was funny right off the bat. He had some really good jokes, like say when she's saying that she needs to go to the dementia ward. He's like, "Oh, I really thought you had a few more years till you're headed there." Stuff like that. I think he wants to be more than friends. She just doesn't give him time, or really can't.
I think it's can't. Yeah, a little bit of can't, a little bit of won't. Actually, I guess.
That's true. Then Samuel's school calls. She has to go there. The first thing they show her on the desk is this crossbow that shoots darts that he's built, which
Yeah,
I
it looks
think
like he made it out of like old picture frames, wooden picture frames.
it looks amazing.
It's
I'm,
pretty ingenious as a kid at that age doing it. I mean, yeah. Those scenes where he's like using a computer to look up diagrams of a crossbow on the internet, so it's like, I don't know, you're led to believe maybe that it's all in his head because you don't know
yeah,
exactly what year the movie takes place. So,
I feel like a lot of horror does good at being anachronistic. Like
okay, yeah.
It Follows is a good example of that, where you just don't know when it happens,
They have cell
and
phones though in that movie, don't they?
only in the opening scene. And
Okay.
then someone has an e-reader that has internet on it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
none of the kids have cell phones. I think they actually use landlines in the rest of the movie besides that opening scene.
Okay.
And then in one scene, the main character is swimming in a bikini, and the very next scene, her and her sister are walking outside in winter coats because her sister wants to smoke cigarettes. So
Okay. It's been a
it's
while
like,
since I've seen that.
yeah, from scene to scene, it's not even you're not even sure what season it's supposed to be. which I
Gotcha.
think is cool.
Gotcha.
But I think a lot of movies are doing pretty good at that. So at the school, she wants to know if anybody was hurt, and they don't want to acknowledge that nobody hurt is a good thing. They're saying that's not the issue here. The issue is that someone could have lost an eye. She thinks they need to just give him more time and attention or like understanding. But the teacher is like, I have 22 other students. There's no way that I could just focus on this one. But then what they do want to do is assign him an actual one-on-one mentor.
They call it a monitor.
Right.
Oh, I don't know if you mentioned this before, but yeah, it is an Australian film.
Oh, sure, I didn't. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what. Again, I don't have kids, so I
Yeah.
don't know what a U.S. correlation to what a monitor is. But yeah, it can
Right.
to yeah one-on-one supervision.
And I didn't
Don't
know
know.
if that would be like sitting in the classroom with him or you're just stuck in a different classroom with this other adult.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
one of those. It doesn't go over well. And she's like, I'll just take him out of school then and find a school
Now,
that actually cares about him.
now, I thought she kind of maybe went nuclear there, kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
well, no, this is not going to happen. I'm taking my kid out of this school. We'll find another school, right? Like, I mean, that
Right.
seems like, especially as a single mother, wow, what are you going to do? How are you going to work when your
Yeah.
kid's at home? Like, who's going to watch them with your limited social circle there? It's just, yeah. But again, that kind of goes to what kind of the whole premise of the movie. Kind of like she has a lot
Yeah.
going on inside her head than, yeah,
Right.
outside.
I think I can think of two stories where my parents went that crazy
Oh, wow. Okay.
at school. And one was because I asked if I could go to the bathroom in the middle of class. And he says, you can go, but you'll have a C on your report card. Like my whole grade in music was going to be determined on this one bathroom trip. And I'm like, that's fine. I have to go. So
It's
I
like
went,
2, 3 minutes. Like, Jesus
right?
Christ, really?
So I went and I told my mom after school. She parked the car, left me in there with the engine running. I don't know how long she was gone, but came back out. He said, you have an A. And I don't know what happened, but she like lost it. Right. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, man.
And then
Hell yeah.
the other one is that I got in a fight with my best friend at the time, Edward. I don't remember why, but I knew that if I went back outside the classroom, he was waiting outside and we were going to get in a fight. And then my teacher asked if I can carry a table from one classroom to another. I was trying to tell her it's not a good idea. She didn't want to listen. So I go outside. Sure enough, I get hit in the back while I'm carrying the table. So I drop the table. We turn around. I always like to joke that I was a gentleman because I took his glasses off and threw them before I hit him in the face. So we were both going to get 3 days of suspension. So my dad shows up and he's asking, like, what's going on? Why is my kid getting suspended when he was defending himself? And he's like, well, it's a no tolerance policy. You fight, even if you're defending yourself, you're getting in trouble. And so my dad says, okay, well, how about this? I'm gonna jump over this counter and beat the ever living shit out of you. And this was to my vice principal. And he goes, so when the cops show up, should you get arrested too? And so in the end, we each got 1 day of in-school suspension instead of 3 days of out-of-school suspension.
Sure. Okay.
But I was like, Dad, calm down. Like,
I mean, the point's made. The point
right,
is clearly made, and I mean, yeah, it's so funny how like, yeah, like you can kind of equate like real world issues to like high school and
right.
vice versa, and like, okay, come on.
Too funny. So on their way, they're in the car. She tells Sam that they're going to hang out with his cousin Ruby and his auntie Claire. And he
Hmm.
says that Ruby doesn't like him. We see in the grocery store that Sam's made a friend with another girl. Amelia is instantly worried, like, oh no, he doesn't do well with others. And the other mom's like, oh, it's completely fine. He, again, like, he's always morbid. He's like, my dad lives in the cemetery
Yes.
and he died taking my mom to the hospital. The mom doesn't know how to react. She wants to be like, oh, well, I shouldn't have. But then she stops, like, who wouldn't mention another kid's parents? Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't think that that's going to be the possible answer,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting. Another interesting, for me at least, as a nerd that I am, that mother in the supermarket who's credited as Supermarket Mum
Hmm.
is her name is Tiffany Leonard Knight. She was in 10 episodes of Battlestar Galactica, but I remember her more from a few episodes of Stargate SG-1 where she was one of the members of the Tok'ra. Because I was like, I know that face. Why do I know that face?
Okay. Okay.
But my wife and I have watched all 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1 at least 3 times since being married.
If
It's
my brother was here, he would salute you, sir. I watch it off and on, but yeah, he stuck with that show like you did. Like, yeah,
yeah, sure.
other shows going on, you know how it goes. So
I
yeah, that's officially when we learn when the dad passed away. Was
right,
that's the scene where he says that, and you can kind of maybe extrapolate that that's kind of he does that a lot.
right.
And that's probably why I'm thinking maybe he's a little bit picked on because of that, because he doesn't have a dad. I know when I was a kid, people would make fun of other kids for when their parents got divorced and shit. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, it's just, I can imagine that it's something similar to that maybe, where, oh,
sure.
you don't have a dad, and just kids can be assholes.
Right. Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
understand how devastating that can be. Yeah, you can definitely kind of extrapolate that out to Samuel being kind of a loner, and maybe that's why he brings weapons to school, was because
See.
he gets picked on or bullied, maybe, and that's why. But yeah. That's
Yeah.
again extrapolation, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a thought on why he is trying to get into a psyche and how he is the way he is portrayed in the movie here.
Right. So now they're at the park. Claire, who's Amelia's sister, is, I guess, annoyed that Amelia is too distracted to listen to her talk about her husband's work problems. I think it's because to Amelia, at least you have a husband. Then she's trying to vent to her sister the whole time. Samuel is trying to call his mom over because he's doing a trick. Apparently, Ruby is playing in a different area in the mud. So her mom doesn't like that. They talk about how Claire's talking about how Ruby doesn't want to share her birthday party anymore. So apparently, because we sort of find out a little bit by bit throughout the movie, but because his dad died on his birthday, Amelia doesn't want to celebrate his birthday on his birthday because it's just too hard for her. And
Yes.
right, and so conveniently for Amelia, Ruby was born within 2 weeks of her son, or something like that.
Yeah. We don't know exactly how the yeah,
Yeah,
but they're
and
pretty close
so
in age. Yeah.
right. And so they says that Ruby wants to have a princess party. Amelia, as we've already discussed, jumps to the extreme. She's like, "Oh, well, we don't have to come." She's like, "That's not what we're saying. We want to celebrate her birthday for it to be her special day, like every other kid gets. Then you could celebrate his birthday on his birthday, and we could come to that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes kind of like I mentioned. So she lost her husband almost 7 years ago at this point. Obviously, that might be a thing that's grating on her mind, is that Samuel reminds her of that day, obviously. Every waking moment that she has, it's Samuel's there, right? And her husband is not. I think that's kind of, like you said, kind of a way to dodge the memory of. We don't know exactly what she does on his
Right.
actual birthday, but you assume that maybe it's just not celebrated. It's already celebrated on Ruby's birthday,
Right.
and maybe that's where she. It's unknown. It's all speculation, but that's obviously she's dodging that day for obvious reasons. Maybe because she hasn't dealt with the grief fully.
Yeah.
I can imagine just how traumatic that would be, losing somebody on that day, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It would be life changing completely. Losing
Oh
anybody on
yeah.
any day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But then like you also have a newborn to care by yourself now, alone. But then going back to how Claire deals with this, is she's kind of short, but again, like it's been almost 7 years.
Right.
Like you probably want, like any normal relationship with family or friend, right? You want back and forth. How are you doing? Oh, how are you doing? How's your day? How's your day? A give and take, as any relationship is. And it seems like Claire's kind of maybe pushing what's going on in her life, because maybe either Amelia doesn't ask her and there's not that give and take, more just because she's just dealing with so much and that she hasn't dealt with the psychological trauma of losing her husband. But yeah, like that's kind of, I can kind of see it from both sides, right? Like you'd want
Right.
somebody to kind of, it's been so long, how come you're not kind of over the tragedy? But again, everybody deals with grief in their own way. I think in this case, I don't think Amelia fully has really dealt with it though.
Yeah. And I don't know how she would go about it, but yeah.
Be tough, a single mom with a newborn.
Yeah, right. When would even if you took time off of work,
You'd be at
you'd
home
have
with a
your
child.
kid.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. At the park, in the middle of this conversation, Sam climbs on top of the swing, gets on the highest part. He's standing on the metal bar with no support.
Yeah, like where the chains are connected, that top part. Yeah.
And then we cut to him in the car crying because he gets their attention. They both get up in shock, but now they're in the car crying. He's holding his leg, but apparently it's not bad enough to go to the hospital. She drives him back home, and this is where we meet Mrs. Roach for the first time.
Yeah. Now just back there, we don't know if he jumped or if they got up and scared him and he fell. And we also, you don't know, like maybe it wasn't that bad. Seemingly, like it's not like the rest he's walking around
Yeah.
with a limp or anything like that. So it probably just wasn't that bad. But it also might have been maybe, I don't know, the medical care, what it's like in Australia. I'm assuming that's the setting. Maybe
I don't know.
insurance. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Or maybe I'm projecting on our
Yeah.
own medical
I
costs here
think
in
that's what you're
America.
doing. I feel like they have like free, what do you call it? Like they might be a country that doesn't have to rely on that.
Yeah, maybe. You just have long
I'm not
waits. I
sure.
don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway, yeah, that's a
we finally meet the neighbor.
and she tells him that he looks like he's been in the wars, and he says a few of them. And I think that reflects because he just had a really bad day. He's basically
Yeah,
his mom yanked him out of school. Then he had to hang out with his cousin that hates him, and now he's injured himself.
yeah.
And then we meet their dog Bugsy. And a warning for anybody who doesn't like things happening to animals in their horror movies, because they do.
Yes, foreshadowed
You're right.
in an
Exactly.
later
Yes,
scene here.
that's right. And then we find out that Amelia helps out Mrs. Roach by taking her trash to the curb all the time. And even though she's really tired, she still wants to be that neighbor that helps out. She's like, if I get it done now, then I don't have to worry about it later.
Hmm.
So we see that.
Yeah.
For some reason, when they go inside, Bugsy's scratching the basement door like he wants to go in there, although I don't think they let him in.
No.
It's nighttime and she's ready to read him a book again, and she says that he can pick. He goes over, and this is where we first see the book called Mr. Babadook.
Ba ba ba. Insert sound effect. That sounds better.
Right? That's too funny. I bought the Blu-ray, which
Okay. Okay.
I was hoping for commentary, but they have like 5 or 6 special features on it. One of them is about this book. One guy handmade it all. He said like he's not from Australia, but when he said he got there, the paper was slightly different that they make. So he had to work with that, but he hand painted everything. He first did a bunch of sketch drawings and presented them to the director. And she said, okay, she picked one, said, this is the angle we want to go with. Before he started making the book, they had a kind of an outline. Every letter is hand drawn by him, all the cutouts. And he shows in the special feature how if you just pull this one, this makes this hand pop out of the door. So it was a very practical, real working pop-up book, and they
Yeah.
had a few copies of it just in
Oh,
case.
man. So that's side note. I heard that this basically when the director Jennifer Kent, right,
Yep, Jennifer Kent.
shopped it around to some studios trying to get traction, but none took it. So she kind of had to crowdsource part of the funding for it. And yeah, that would have been such a great like Kickstarter or whatever to get one of those books.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
really fit.
I saw that in the end that it said thank you to these Kickstarter supporters. I'm like, what? I was like,
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And
It'd be interesting to dig that up and see what they actually got. If they got, you get a free movie ticket. I'm like, nah, man, I want a fucking prop from the movie, and that book would have just been it, man. Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, their names are also in the credits,
Okay,
which is
well,
kind of
yeah,
neat, right?
yeah,
That's some horror cred right there.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. What on a side note, I own Stephen King's only pop-up book. Like he came out with there's a book called The Girl That Loved Tom Gordon, which is
Okay,
about this little girl that gets lost in the woods. She turns on her little AM/FM radio with a limited battery she has to listen to the Red Sox play, and her favorite relief pitcher is Tom Gordon. And she's hoping to hear him while she's going. But she's being pursued by this creature in the whole book, and they made this pop-up book version of it, and I found it at a half price books for like $9.
oh
I was like,
wow,
oh, this is mine. And so I still have it, and it's a beautiful book. So I kind of related this movie to that because I think that's pretty cool. But yeah,
yeah.
so they get this book out, Mr. Babadook. She doesn't
It's
know where he got
clear,
it.
exactly. It's very clear that she has never seen this book before.
Right. Yeah, he's like, it was over on the shelf. They start reading the book, and it's creepy right out of the way.
Yeah,
It's
and
that
the cover, remind me, is it just the name, Mr.
I
Babadook,
think
or
I
is
think
there
it might have just the like black
the
outline
image?
of the
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and then it says Mr. Babadook instead of the Babadook.
And you can't get any kind of creepier for a scary book. It's black with red
Yeah,
font. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much
right.
color of
Yeah,
Dracula, man.
right. In the inside, the words are kind of creepy right away. It's like if it's in a word or if it's in a look, you just can't get rid of the Babadook. It also mentions that you will hear 3 sharp knocks and you'll know he's around, which are kind of themes that happen throughout this whole movie.
Yes.
Amelia's asked Sam if they could pick a different book, and he's like, you said I could choose. So they keep going,
Sam
And like
starts
all the imagery in this is like stuff you would not. It's all
right.
like black and white, and it's clearly. It looks like he's smiling. Maybe his mouth is often open, the Babadook, and
Yeah,
I see him definitely looks masculine, but
yeah.
you know,
Right. I was
um,
thinking the same thing. I say him for Mr. Babadook. Yeah. As they go through the book, it's getting worse and worse. We cut to him crying uncontrollably, and she's trying to read a happier book, but he just can't stop crying.
yeah, the ending words in the book says "dead."
You'll wish you were dead.
Yeah, you'll wish you're dead.
You
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
you are dead. Something like that.
You know,
Yeah.
I read a lot of kids' book. They use that dead. I had that notion of what death was, at that age. So yeah, clearly not a kid's book. I don't know where
Right.
this book came from, but yeah,
Now she's again waiting till he falls asleep before she returns to her bed. In her bed, she's studying the book again and she's reading You Can't Get Rid of the Babadook. She goes in to hide it on top of her shelf.
and before
And
she does
then,
that, she
yep.
notices there's like I don't know something like 5 to 6 extra pages that are blank in the back of the book,
Oh, sure.
and yeah, yeah, that'll maybe come up later.
And she's watching TV and she has Pugsy on her lap. She finally goes to bed. Since Sam's asleep, she's all alone and she has nobody to help her with this. She pulls out a vibrator. I felt so stressed for her in this moment. Like she's having time for herself here. And then he runs in the middle of her getting into it. I think she was really building to it.
Yeah, almost
And
there.
and he opens the door and she's like, no, this is not happening right now.
Yep, yep.
Sand jumps and scares her and says that the Babadook is in his room. She says it's not going to happen, but he's worried that something's going to happen to her and he promises to protect her.
Yes.
Okay. So then he's asleep now in her bed and she's awake reading her own book. So she's losing even more sleep here.
Yes.
Um,
And again,
sh-
he's kind of clingy again, like I mentioned
yeah.
before. She can't get any sleep.
So she hears this creaking, but it's still, instead of investigating, she pulls the cover over her head so she can go to bed as well. And it seems like the sun rises 3 seconds after she pulls the blanket over, and Sam's there waking her up, telling her that it's already 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like a fast forward time lapse. Like it's just like the sun comes up. You can kind of see the shadow change a little bit. And yeah,
Yeah.
to her
So
loving son.
so she's getting ready for work. She is going to drop him off at Claire's house and she tells him, hey, no monster talk at all. And he kind of tries to walk away without agreeing. And she makes him agree again before she leaves him. And so he does, says no monster talk. And this is where we have that bingo scene, apparently.
Yeah,
Weird.
and like she's on the phone clearly with her boss and saying
Yeah.
that her son was sick. I think was the excuse she gives for
Oh,
why she's being
right.
late. Because clearly she's. I think before when she gets the day started, she's. I think it's about 7 a.m. when her alarm goes
Okay,
off
that's
in the
right.
earlier scene, and now it's 2 hours late. So I'd assume. I don't know. When I was a kid, I think school was generally about 8. So yeah, that hour to get
Yeah.
ready and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So later she's on a coffee break and Robbie comes in. She's saying she's a little stressed at the moment. She also tells him that Sam is sick. And so he tells her that if she were to leave, he will cover for her. She says that she will
Sure.
give him the pay that she would earn. And he says, that's ridiculous. You need that for your son. So he obviously cares about her, like we've said.
Yeah.
She does leave. And instead of going to get Sam right away, she takes a moment to herself, gets
A
some ice
personal day.
cream. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody deserves that.
Oh yeah.
And when she gets to her car, she looks over in the parking garage and there's this couple just making out in the parking garage and she's I don't know, I think envious that they have each
Uh.
other.
Yeah.
And but when the woman in that relationship looks up to see her watching, she instantly like, oh, I was looking for my phone. That's what I was doing. Gets her phone. And she sees that she's missed like 10 calls from Claire. So she runs over to Claire. Claire's mad that she wasn't at work. She's been trying to call her. And I felt so bad for her right there. I wrote down like she finally has a moment to herself. And now someone is yelling at her for taking it. And it just so sucks. But Claire's mad because Sam wouldn't stop talking about the Babadook and it scared the crap out of Ruby. And the way he's sitting in the driveway like he's not allowed in the house right now. And they're on the porch yelling at Amelia, like, take your kid away. But I don't know. I felt like they kicked him out of the house and they were just watching to make sure he didn't get hurt outside.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like I just got to go back that it's been almost 7 years, and it's unclear. Like Has she taken her child to get counseling? Has she seen counseling to try to work on any of this stuff? Because it's obvious that she's having a tough time doing the normal stuff in life, but also just dealing with a rambunctious child mildly, you know?
Right. And
So,
to drive that point in, when Sam is mad that Amelia seems to be taking his aunt's side, he pulls out these little fireworks that pop when you throw them on the ground,
yep, yep.
throws them at his mom's feet, which I thought was hilarious because I remember those. I remember
Hmm.
people pulling pranks on their teachers, scaring the crap out of the teachers in middle school
Yep.
with those. That's too funny.
Now, I don't even know what happens if you do that at school now with
I can't imagine.
uh, active shooter drills and shit. And holy
I
shit,
get
man.
I get an email at least twice a week that was a threat about a gun. The police came out and determined there was no viable threat. I mean, twice a week I get this.
Oh,
So it's just
yeah.
that's crazy. But you're right. I mean, it's too common now.
Not trying to get political or anything, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just remember,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, like back in my day, yeah, we brought
Yeah.
fireworks to school, and it's just like, oh my god,
That's too funny.
yeah.
Yeah. So on the way home, she wants to know where he got the fireworks. He tells her that she bought them off the internet for him.
Hmm.
And her solution is then no bloody internet. Like, okay, you're grounded from the internet. Even though she was the one that used them,
Yeah,
used it to buy them.
so that
Yeah.
says she's just buying whatever he asked for, and she's not really looking at what he's asking for. Because again, he's into magic and being a magician, so maybe it came in a magician's kit type thing. Or
Yeah.
maybe it was just straight up, "Hey, I'm gonna buy you some fireworks."
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Um,
yeah. It
and
just
then
kinda shows to maybe the absentee obviously, she has a lot more stuff going on in her head, so she just kinda
yeah.
in some aspects of her life is kinda just checked out, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and then she makes it this is how she breaks the news about the birthday party. She makes it like it's her decision right now. She put her foot down. He's not gonna have a birthday party with Ruby at the same time. So she's lying to her own child about the truth of this, like she made this decision because it's something she can't even control, which I
And
thought was a weird way to do it.
but at the same time, I mean, if you told the honest truth about
Oh,
Ruby
sure.
wants to have her own birthday party and it's gonna be a princess party, it might maybe obviously Samuel and Ruby's relationships already seems kind of strained. That maybe that's also why. So it
Okay,
kind of
that makes
maybe it
sense.
was. It also gives her kind of looks like the power, the I'm the parent and you're gonna do what I say, but also it kind of covers for maybe to save his feelings for a little bit,
Right.
kind of in a roundabout way. Still hurts him, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. At home, we see that she's doing some dishes, and this is the first time we notice that right out the window from where she's doing the dishes, she can look into Mrs. Roach's living room and see that she's watching TV.
Mhm.
Sam is putting on a show in the basement for Bugsy. He scares him when he throws down two fireworks again at his direction. Then he shoots the darts with a crossbow, which gets Amelia's attention.
And
Um,
that's when we see her go downstairs and he's in trouble and not supposed to be down there.
Right. So they make it back to the first floor. She searches his body to get the key out. And he said he was going to put it back. And she says that his father's things are down there. He yells at her, saying that he's my father too. And you can't have him for yourself, or like you don't own him. This is where we get the knock at the door, and Robbie's coming to visit. He's brought her some flowers and he brought a model plane set for Sam because his
Yes.
mom always bought him a model plane set every time he was sick.
Yes.
And Sam points out, but I'm not sick.
I'm not sick. Yes.
And
Yes.
he's like, whoa, you're right. He's not sick. And she tells him that, well, I couldn't really tell you the truth, that he's too bad to be in school anymore, which isn't really the truth because she pulled him out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a half truth,
It's a half truth. Sure. Sure.
right? She's saying, what other 7-year-old makes weapons, or 6-year-old? And then he yells, "You won't even let me have a dad," which I think was hilarious because I think in that moment, Robbie was kind of hoping to fill that role. Like, hey, you need the help. I like you. I'm willing to be helpful. Maybe having two parents would help
Hmm.
this child out. But it almost feels like, wait, what does this kid know? like,
And it's also like I don't know, like definitely, obviously, he thought there's gonna be a sick kid, maybe in bed, maybe even asleep at that point,
right.
and maybe he was thinking, oh yeah, we can maybe get some time to know each other. maybe go out to
Yeah.
eat, or maybe just talk over some coffee at her house. But yeah, and just going back to the basement scene real quick. Yeah, so she does tell him that he's not supposed to be down there, and they fight over the stuff. And yeah, the stuff is sheet music, some vinyl, and yeah, so I guess her husband was a musician, maybe.
Maybe.
And I think in that scene, that's where you start seeing kind of a motif that's kind of played where she sees kind of a suit, like maybe like a big band suit, maybe that, assuming that was her husband's. That's kind of almost kind of pinned to the wall, kind of
Hmm.
like in like a pose, one knee's kind of up, and the hands kind of jazz hands or something. I don't know,
And the
but yeah,
shoes are right under it
the
too.
shoes are right under it and everything. And I think that's going to be playing a role as we see later on down the road here.
Sure.
But yeah, I just imagine as a single guy trying to get to know your coworker on a romantic level, and you see this fight with
Yeah.
the kid and the romantic interest, and yeah, man, you don't know exactly how Robbie takes it because that's pretty much the end of the scene, right?
Yeah, and I don't know that we see him again the rest of the movie.
No, we do not. No,
Right.
no, I mean a lot of other stuff's happening
Yeah,
at
this
that
is
point.
true. Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't know exactly how Robbie takes that.
Later, Amelia has cooked food for them. What she's eating is she finds a shard of glass in her food, and she tells Sam to stop. And she looks for his food, but there's no glass in it. But there's multiple shards in hers,
And hers, yeah.
and he instantly blames the Babadook.
And she kinda she doesn't say anything, but kind of the look that she gives Samuel is like, "Did you do this to
Yeah,
me? Why would you do that?" You know? So yeah, it's something that's not said, but again, there's a lot of subtle stuff like that. But yeah, it's the Babadook.
yeah. And she doesn't ground him or anything. He's not in trouble. She just asks him to go watch a DVD. So she's gonna cook more food, I
Mhm.
guess. Mm,
DVD he puts on is the aforementioned magician DVD, some guy kinda teaching
teaching magic
children how
tricks.
to do magic tricks, yeah.
Yeah. On the way upstairs, she sees him run out of one room into the another one. When she goes in, she sees that things are thrown all over the floor. She approaches the bed and she sees the photo that she found in the basement earlier of her and her dead husband, Oscar. All their faces have been marked off in red. And so she goes to him to ask if he thinks it's funny. And his reaction is to go for the catapult. like, like, is he
Yes, backpack
gonna?
catapult, yeah.
Yeah, right. It to her that's got to seem like he's gonna attack me with it,
Mhm.
but
To
to
him,
him he
it's like, "They're gonna
thinks
protect us."
right, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
She
someone took the eyes and made them all filled in with black, the mouths, I can't remember if it's, like, a kind of a jagged grin with some scribble scrabble
yeah,
over the mouth. Yeah, it's just yeah, something
yeah.
yeah.
She's able to overpower him and get the catapult, but
Mhm.
then he grabs the dart crossbow and runs out of the room.
Yes.
Later, she's fallen asleep at the table, so we just get see over and over again how exhausted she is. It looks like she's starting to get a headache at this point.
She
But
is I think at this point, she's kinda been her back lower jaw, I'm not sure if it's right or left, but she
oh
kinda
yeah,
massages it, and this is where you kind of really start picking it up on it, where it definitely kinda makes a point. The movie makes a point
yeah,
to show that she's doing that.
she's got a toothache. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the lights in the kitchen start flickering, and at the same time, Sam is in the living room in the dark, armed with the catapult. So he had to have gotten it back at some point. He looks scared. He's looking at the wall, and it's very dark. She's woken up again by a loud sound and a scream and runs to find him hiding under the bed. When she pulls him out, he starts saying, "Don't let it in, don't let it in." She looks up to see the book is in his room, takes it downstairs, and proceeds to rip it, at least the first half of the book, to pieces,
Mhm.
and then goes outside, throws it in the trash.
Yeah, she, like, takes each page, quarters each page, and again, yeah, she put that up on top of an armoire. I could be mistaken, but I can't remember if she actually had to, like, get on a stepping stool to put it up there.
Yeah, I don't know. It
So,
was
a
pretty high
kid
up. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty high up. It kinda I don't know, it might have been the perspective of the way the camera put it, but yeah, it seems like it was really tall. Even if the kid got a chair, he still wouldn't been able to get up there. So,
Yeah.
it's kinda mysterious how it all of a sudden is just back in his broom.
Yeah, he's also inventive though. So
He
he might have
is.
might have gotten it down, but I
Yeah,
doubt it if he's
stacking
that
2
scared of it.
chairs.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, right, yeah, if I'm scared, I
yeah,
don't wanna see that shit.
yeah. Back to her trying to sleep in Sam's bed. and the lamp is flickering, so she turns it off, and then she hears a noise 3 times and sits up really fast.
Hmm.
Time seems to pass way too fast again. It's already morning. Sam is pulling the blanket off her, asking if they have to go to Ruby's party. At the party, the girl's there opening a present. She's got a Barbie and she's complaining
I
out
already have
loud.
this one.
Yeah, which is so annoying. Like, okay, don't that's rude. Don't do that, please.
Yep.
I know with my own kids, I had to teach them that not everybody in the world likes pineapple on their pizza. And
Okay.
just because they love pineapple on their pizza, if someone gives you free pizza, don't say, but there's no pineapple on it. Which every birthday party, I had to train them not to do that. It's like, no, no,
Oh
buddy,
man.
you just say thank you and we'll talk about it later. Okay. Like you
Yeah.
don't do
Yeah.
that. So it feels like at that moment, the little girl's a little rude. But then in this whole scene, she's trying to be there with the mothers. The mothers are trying to make her feel like they care, but they don't want to make the whole day about her and her lost husband. They all want to talk about themselves as well. And then when they're talking about their everyday problems, she snaps on them like, oh, that's got to be so hard. You can't make it to the gym. It's like, wow, you can't interact in public either.
Well, before that, it's unclear if though Claire's friend, I'm assuming these are all Claire's people, that she kind of. I don't think she has a real job. It sounds like she kind of maybe it was a volunteer type thing. And
Right.
I don't know the exact words, but basically helping the underprivileged or less privileged women.
Right.
And it's kind of pointed maybe. I think Amelia takes it that it's pointed at a comment talking down to her, and I think
Right.
that's the reason for the explosion. It's not like out of nowhere,
Uh,
but yeah, she definitely kind of goes off on her. Not goes off on her, but kind of just snaps right back at her, and it's like, wow,
yeah. And I
wow,
think to support your point of view there, she's sitting down while everybody else is standing up. At least the people
yeah,
talking are standing up. So it does feel like they are physically above her in this moment
good
and are
point.
physically talking down to her,
Yeah, good point,
um,
good point.
which is interesting.
It adds to
It
the scene,
also,
sure. Yeah.
have you seen the movie Smile?
Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene where the main character is talking to her sister, and her sister kind of complaining the same thing. Like, I got to drop him off at school. That kid's name is Jackson in that movie. I got to drop Jackson off at school. Then I got to pick him up a few hours later. Then I got to take him to this after school program. There's basically no time anymore. I'm basically losing my body. I can't make it to the gym. And the husband's like, no, you're not. Like, you're still beautiful. But the main character who has like real crazy problems right now is
Just a bit.
doesn't care about yeah, doesn't care about these, like, problems that this person is thinking are bad.
They're
So I
trivial
just
compared to what she's
yeah,
dealing with.
right. It just reminds me of that scene in Smile.
Mhm.
And then in the backyard, all the girls are watching a mime do some bad juggling. He's really funny. And Sam's just in the treehouse minding his own business. Then Ruby comes up there and says, "This is my treehouse. You're not allowed in here." And he has a really good point. He's like, "I wasn't hurting anybody. I was just minding my own business." And then she just starts getting mean. She says, "Every other kid has a father. Why don't you have a father?" She starts saying that her mom, Claire, says that the Babadook isn't real. He says, "Well, how would she know? She never comes over the house." And she says she doesn't want to go over there because your house is too depressing.
Mhm.
And it's just unfortunate that the kid has heard her mom say this.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and then the fact that, kids are going to share what they hear,
Mhm.
but that's unfortunate. So, but she keeps pressing it on that he's weird. So eventually, just to stop her from talking, he shoves her out of the treehouse. She hits the ground and breaks her nose.
Yeah, falls on her
As
face.
right, and
And it's
at the same
you
time,
learn you learn
go ahead.
it's broken not once but twice.
With two places, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah,
while the
it's showing him kind of like a mother like son that she kind of just takes it to the next level
yeah, snaps.
and snaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can kind of I guess from that scene kind of maybe extrapolate that that's kind of all he knows with socialization is that he's kind of bullied maybe.
Yeah, that's probably true. Then we also, at the same time this is happening, Amelia and Claire are talking. Claire brings up that no one can ever talk about her husband without her freaking out. It's a subject she can't get around. It's been 7 years, and I guess we learned it's probably a week away from being 7 years. That
About 2 weeks, I think. About 2
right?
weeks,
Yeah.
because the movie yeah, they mentioned that, and it's about to be his birthday at the end of the movie.
Right, right. And so they're basically saying that it's been long enough. You need to get over this because no one can be around you and no one can ever bring him up. You just can't handle it. But then that conversation is interrupted by Ruby falling out of the treehouse.
And screaming bloody murder.
Yeah,
Understandably.
yeah, exactly. Claire gets Ruby and to go take her for medical attention, tells Amelia to watch the rest of the kids so that no one else gets hurt.
I think
And
insinuating that maybe Samuel might hurt other people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we cut to them in the car. Sam's kicking the back of the seat, but because they're in Australia and the side he's sitting on,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
he's not
Every
kicking the
time.
driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I
Uh,
was like, oh my God, this kid would drive me insane. But it's like, oh, okay, still would drive me insane. But oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah.
It's the passenger
So
seat.
she snaps at her own son, pulls over the car, turns around and yells, "Why can't you be normal?" And then adds, "There is no Babadook." Sam then looks out the window, terrified, and he starts screaming, "Get out, get out."
So I would
Uh,
say with his words, it's not actually outside. He's seeing somebody then the
oh,
seat
sure.
next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like he goes into a seizure. Amelia pulls him out and brings him over to the ground. And we see this couple walking up and she begs them for help.
Yes.
And so that we get this scene where he's being examined by a doctor. Afterwards, the doctor says, "Everything's fine. I could recommend him to a psychiatrist. It's just going to be a week. But most kids see monsters. It's fine." And she just looks really
Stressed
desperate.
out. Yes.
Yeah.
Desperate. Yeah.
She says, "Please just give me something so that he can sleep so that I can sleep."
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
says, "Most mothers don't want to do this unless it's really bad." And she
And
says that it
it's
is really
really
bad.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the doctor seems hesitant, but basically gives her I'm assuming, a PRN script for a week's supply.
Yeah. Of
And
something.
of something. She asked, I believe she says sedative, or maybe the doctor says it's a sedative, but we don't know the.
Later, I think later she might say tranquilizers,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
right?
yeah. I
But
think yeah.
yeah.
To probably some people you don't want to say that shit to. It just looks really weird.
Exactly, exactly. I
But
know.
again,
Yeah.
her state of mind, she's dealing with all the other stuff
Every
on the outside.
conversation with those guys is awkward.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Back at home, Sam's asking why people don't like him. He tells her that Ruby said mean things to him, and people are always just mean. Then she tries to give him the pill, even though he doesn't want to take it. And he says he doesn't want her to die. Like, if I'm asleep, you could die. And
the
she says
protection
she
stuff.
won't. Right. She says she won't die for a long time. And he says, "Is that what you thought about Dad before he died?"
Yeah,
Right.
and again, it goes to. I think she says it at the end, but he always says what's on his mind. Which, yeah, you don't want to always do that because, yeah, especially with strangers. But yeah,
Right.
definitely. And obviously, he's a child, so he doesn't understand how hurtful and what emotions that those words bring up to her, especially.
So she finally gets him to take the pill. She promises that they could do something fun the next day. He asks if the pills will make the Babadook go away, and she says she thinks so, but he has to promise never to mention him again. He replies that I promise to protect you
Hmm.
if she protects him as well. He does take the pill and asks if she will stay while he falls asleep, which she does.
Yes.
When she's in her bed, we see her slowly falling from the air again. When she wakes up way too tired, it looks at the clock and it's already 11 a.m. And when she goes to check on Sam, he's still asleep. There's a knock at the door, and when she looks out, there's no one there. She walks
It's, I
away.
believe specifically, it's three
3 knocks.
little knocks
Right. Yeah. And then
and
she walks away. It knocks 3 more times.
much louder
Yeah, right. So she goes and she looks down, and there's the book right there on the floor.
on the street.
Um,
Yeah.
she brings it inside, she opens it, and she can see that it's all taped back together. The words that they focus on at this point, at least the ones I wrote down, are wager with you. I'll make you a bet. The more you deny, the stronger I get.
And again, these are pages that were not in there the first go through.
Right.
So yeah, it's added pages now, more threatening. Yeah, good
Yeah.
happy read.
The next page has a pop-up of him and a picture of what looks like her being scared. And on the
Mhm.
bottom, it says, "Let me in."
Yes. She goes on further, right? And that's where we start seeing
Mm-hmm.
the really foreshadowing part of her strangling the dog
Yeah, so it shows him getting into her. Like it says, "You'll
through her
start to
mouth or something.
change."
Yeah.
Yeah, "You'll start to change when I get in. The Babadook will grow right under your skin." It shows her with Bugsy, and the way the pop-up has it is like the dog's head's
Oh,
here, and then when
yeah.
she snaps it, the
It
dog head
flips down.
flips down and his eyes are X'd out.
Yeah.
And on the next page, it shows her strangling Sam to death. And then it pulls out a knife. The thing moves so that it slits her throat,
Her
and this
throats.
little red
Red ribbon.
paper
Yeah.
comes right down to signify the blood,
Ugh.
which was crazy.
Yeah.
So then we cut to her and Sam both in the backyard, putting the Babadook on a barbecue pit, adding lighter fluid
Lots of
to
lighter
it,
fluid.
and lighting it on fire.
Hmm.
And she's trying to talk to Claire on the phone, who doesn't have time to listen to her. She tells her that she believes that someone is stalking her and Sam because of this book. Claire doesn't have time to understand what she's talking about. She says, if you really think there's something wrong, you need to go to the police.
Yes, and
Uh,
that's what we learned. She's also kind of complaining about what happened to Ruby, and that's where we learned
yes,
medical bills and nose broken twice, or
that's
two
right. They do
fractures.
bring
Yeah,
up medical bills. That's right.
yeah, yeah. So,
Okay. Yeah. She's off the phone. The phone rings again right away. She goes to pick it up, and we get that creepy voice. It's like,
ah,
Babadook,
dook, dook,
Duke,
dook.
Duke. Yeah, exactly.
After I
Yeah,
watched this movie, yeah, I remember calling people and leaving that. I'd also seen the movie, and like if I got a voicemail, I would just do that.
that's awesome. Oh, man. Now at the police station, she's trying to report to Senior Sergeant Brady that she's being stalked. When she tells him it's a children's book, there's a younger officer in the background that just snickers,
Hmm.
and Officer Brady looks at him like, hey, stop it.
Yeah,
And then he tries to take, how is this stalking? She says that the picture included images that were graphic of her and her child being murdered. Of course, she leaves out that it's her doing the murdering in the book.
sure.
He says, can we see the book? And she tells him that we burned it.
Yeah,
He's like, then I don't know what I can do for you. And she looks over the wall behind him. When he moves, he like looks down to write something. Behind him is another silhouette, or it's like another hat with a jacket that looks like the shape of the Babadook.
it looks like the arms are kind of out. It doesn't look like a normal coat just
Yeah,
hanging up. It almost looks again like it's pinned to the wall. I think it even
yeah,
has the gloves, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
It
it just
doesn't.
looks, yeah, like maybe it's the
Yeah.
Babadook. I don't know.
So she goes to pick up Sam, who she left with Mrs. Roach. The first thing that he spits out of his mouth is that she has Parkinson's. She snaps at her own son, saying, you don't have to say everything that comes into your head. And Mrs. Roach is saying, it's so fine. He asked, and I talked to him about it. He's just like his father was. She tells her, do you always have to bring him up? Like, poor Mrs. Roach, just watch your kid for you.
Yeah,
And now you're going to snap at her.
but it's like Claire was saying. That's
Anybody?
tiptoe around that topic.
Back at the house, Bugsy seems scared of her now. When she goes to do the dishes, she sees a big cockroach. She follows it behind the fridge. She pulls off some wallpaper, and she sees a bunch of cockroaches coming out of this big hole in the
The
back.
gash in the wall. Yeah, yeah.
And of course, the worst people to possibly show up at this point, which I would call CPS, but they call Department of Community Services.
Hmm. I
They,
got it, the feeling that it was like a whole kind of like a welfare check for the whole family, not just the
oh, not just the
kids.
kid. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where CPS is, I think, just about the child's safety. So,
And those characters are Prue and Warren.
oh wow, you got
And
the names too, huh?
I did. I didn't write them down two places because I'm gonna write them down here because they come back later.
Okay, yeah, they
Um,
do. Yeah.
they ask how he's doing, and he says he's a little tired from the drugs his mom gave him.
Again, like we said, stuff you probably wouldn't want to mention
Right?
because yeah, pretty much they're giving her the side eye quite a
Yeah.
bit here in the scene.
She says they're not drugs; they're tranquilizers, and they were prescribed. Which tranquilizers are drugs. Prue asks if she can get a glass of water, and she says yes, but she just found a roach infestation in a hole behind the fridge. And when she gets there, there's no hole behind the fridge. She says, I meant a hole in the wallpaper is where they were laying the eggs, but I just cleaned it out. But when you look in that kitchen, it looks like all the food has been taken out of the fridge and is now sitting on the table. So it's all going to go bad.
And yeah, wasn't unsure like why, what maybe because she moves the fridge to get behind it. I don't know if it was moving it out so she could move it easier. I'm not sure why the food was out because it doesn't show her. There's not a
Yeah.
scene where it shows her moving every piece out. But yeah,
Right.
and it just right now while other people are in the house isn't like a disaster by any means. It just looks like she doesn't have time to do regular cleaning at all.
Right.
Not that it's like trash on the floor or anything like that. It's not like a hoarder situation, but yeah, I think obviously
Yeah.
plays a part.
So they give him a card and say they'll be back in a week or so. They said that we realized we caught you at a bad time. We cut to later. The sky is growing extremely dark. Sam's asleep on the couch. She's doing the dishes. Again, this time when she looks up to see Mrs. Roach watching TV, behind her in the hallway, there's a
Ugh.
door, and you can see Mr. Babadook just standing there like he's going to harm Mrs. Roach.
But yeah,
Uh,
but he's looking right at her though too. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's creepy. It is
yeah, very
creepy.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like a jump scare. It's like just there,
Yeah, it's subtle.
unsettling. Yeah, very subtle and yeah, very just kind of.
Right, which I like. A movie doesn't always have to sometimes jump scares feel cheap, like,
I think
or
often they do. Yeah,
unnecessary. Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so when it's something that I think can be terrifying and it doesn't bring your attention, you might not even see it the first time, like a Hereditary, when the mom is up against the back corner of the wall, it's so dark, you might
yeah,
not see her until she starts crawling
yeah.
like a
Until she
spider.
starts moving. Yep,
Yeah, we're
yep,
like, "What the heck is that?"
yep.
That's done well.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah,
Sam says he's too tired, he wants to go to bed, but I think she's scared to be awake alone, and she tells him that if he goes to bed now, the pills won't work properly, which I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, if the pills are meant to knock him out so you can have some time to rest, then just go
yeah.
sleep too. But she's too scared, I think. So they're watching TV a bit. Again, outside seems to grow even darker. Now she's up in the room reading a bedtime story. Sam falls asleep, and then lamp next to her starts flickering like crazy. She looks at herself in the mirror and sees that she looks terrified.
Hmm.
We see some shots of the house really dark, and we hear the wind blowing. She's laying next to him. She can't sleep, and she hears three loud scraping sounds. She sits right up. Then Bugsy barks, so she opens the door for him, and she's relieved and tries to go to sleep again. This time, the scraping happens three times again, but
Yep.
then the door opens. She sees the Babadook hand coming in the room. She covers her face with a blanket. She hears him yell the same Babadook, Dook, Dook.
But I
Yeah.
like the scene. It's just because it's so dark, like you mentioned. It's
Hmm.
dark outside. It's not like a little low light. There's no like street light out there. It's kind of ambient lighting or anything. So it's hard to see, but you can kind of see the outline of a hand. You don't get a lot of what is coming in.
Right.
And yeah, it has been mentioned before. Babadook is like all in black and pale skin. So
Yeah.
just kind of already kind of creepy and
Eh,
creepy eyes, super creepy eyes.
right. It seems to like hug around the ceiling fan. You can't tell if you see it or not until it leaps down at her while her mouth is wide open for a scream. And it feels like at this point it does go in her. Although there's another scene later where it goes in her again. Like,
I think it's the next scene. I think this scene is kind of just adding to the terror.
yeah.
And also, I was not paying attention, but there's not really much of a score to the movie, correct? Like, there's not
Yeah.
like background music,
It is
really.
silent a lot.
It's yeah, but in this scene, you hear it almost sounds like insects. Is the what came to my mind when the Babadook is on the ceiling. You also hear some other sounds. I looked this up because I recognized one of them. A little game called Warcraft 2. One of the
Okay.
sounds, there's a bunch of sounds actually from video games. I looked it up. So they use some sound effects from Warcraft 2, other video games, Mortal Kombat 3, Resident Evil, and this website says UFO Enemy Unknown. I think that is one of the early XCOM games. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just like, why do I know that sound? I think it's
Sure.
the dragon sound from Warcraft 2.
I
But
can
anyway, yeah.
It's had to be at least 3 decades since I played Warcraft 2.
Oh man, I played the hell out of that game. But yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the part where the sound kind of almost because it's so dark and it's basically shadows moving within shadows, the sound just it's already creepy hearing kind of like
Mhm.
insects crawling or like the
Oh, yeah.
hissing.
When it does have music, it's really creepy. And I
Yeah.
remember I did write down, and it wasn't too far into the movie, that my wife, who was in the next room over, was like, "I'm not watching that and I'm terrified. Could we, like, lower that a little bit?"
Okay,
And
okay.
and so I was like, okay, creepy music. Write this down.
Yeah, but they don't use it. You know how some
Yeah,
movies use it, where like, okay, this scene's intense, so let's make it more intense. Like it's
yeah,
never. They don't use the music like that, or when there's a jump scare, there's like big like violin
right,
tread or whatever. It's very subtle. So much of the movie is very subtle, and
right.
it leads to interpretation as I've been extrapolating stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, like it's just that scene specifically with the sound effects that they use, most of the insect sounds, the Warcraft 2 dragon sounds. I was like, I know I've heard that before. It's not,
That's too funny.
yeah, but I don't know. Maybe somebody that's never played the game was like, I didn't like that sound. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
could be. So she wakes Sam up and tells him they have to go downstairs, but she won't tell him why. She's then turning off every light in the house. We cut to them watching some more TV. She's struggling to stay awake. I feel like this is a very Nightmare on Elm Street kind of scene where we
yeah.
think we see someone fall asleep. They don't know they're asleep. And then she starts seeing things on the TV, which is a nightmare. We see all this stuff that looks like black and white in the 1920s, women floating
Silent
in
film era.
space. Yeah, we see this magical character who opens a book that's taller than him, and inside the book is the Babadook. We see a lot of weird imagery of devils and people pulling off their own heads. We see a bunch of girls dancing in a circle who summon the Babadook.
Hmm.
We then see in a bedroom, the bed keeps sliding to one side and the other, like the room is being tilted, until an evil looking clown character seems to grab the bed. And
Hmm.
then we cut to it being daytime, and she's still awake and extremely tired.
Yes. I know I have been in states like when I was in college and doing an all-nighter, taking the test
Yeah.
because that's the best way to take tests, not get a full night's sleep and, prepare
Sure.
ahead of time. But yeah, I was there and I remember walking. I couldn't go to sleep because the caffeine, but I was just so sleep deprived where I just felt like a zombie just walking through the grocery store because I had to get groceries and just finding myself not doing anything, so I can feel the way she felt. I mean, she probably felt 10 times worse than I did. But yeah, just you don't know what you did in the last 10 minutes because you're just so sleep deprived. And
Right.
yeah, I'm just
I
trying to take care of yourself plus a child's life. Like that's recipe for
I
disaster.
I mean, I could kind of relate to the tired thing with all my kids' after school schedules.
Oh
They're
god.
so bad.
Yeah.
I found myself at a ballet studio. They had the most comfortable couches ever, and I fell asleep. I opened my eye to look at all these parents just looking at me with disgust. Like, who is this guy that is sleeping on this couch? And I'm like, you don't understand. I got 3 kids doing this, and we gotta split them up,
I
like,
gotta
in
work
different
for a
locations.
living. Yeah.
Exactly. But it was funny. So, speaking of work, she calls into work claiming that she's sick, and they don't seem happy about it. I think someone on the other end recommends that she give all her shifts away, and she's saying that she can't afford that. It's not her fault for being sick.
I don't want to give it to
So
everybody else.
yeah,
I think that's what she said.
exactly.
I think she says something. She gets a little defiant. It's fine, fine. If you have to give my hours away, if I recall correctly, or is it just kind of more if that's
Yeah,
what
I
you
mean,
have to
she's not
do?
happy about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's finally asleep, and Sam's coming in to say he's hungry, that his stomach feels weird because he took the medicine, and she told him that he has to take the medicine and food, but he looked in the fridge and there's no food. And I think it's because she took it
Everything was
out
left out.
and it all went bad.
Hmm.
And then she starts asking him why he has to keep talking. Don't you ever stop? And I know it isn't in her yet, but it's got to be influencing her if she's repeating things 3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
He says he's really hungry, and she tells him, "Why don't you just go eat shit?" She yells it at him,
Yes,
uh,
yes.
which terrifies him. So I don't know how much time passes if she fell asleep or not, but now she's awake. She's looking for him, and she's saying that she's sorry. She was just really, really tired. He's cowering in the corner. He's definitely afraid of her. And she says that she'll cook him something. He isn't hungry. And then she tells him they can go to Wally's and he can have anything he want, even
Even
ice
ice
cream for
cream.
breakfast. Yeah. And then at Wally's, they're sitting next to the most rambunctious table
The
with
family.
like
Yeah, yeah,
4 kids, 1 mother and 4 kids. They're
yeah,
arguing over, I don't know, a soda straw maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like she's there smiling because her kid is just eating and happy, even though
Hmm.
that noise is insane next to them. I thought it
Yeah,
was hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
Then they're in the car, and Sam asks why they're driving so long, and she says she just wants to drive for a while. She looks down, she sees a cockroach over her leg, and then she sees the Babadook in her rearview mirror.
Now, just a
Yeah,
PSA for everybody out there. If you do find yourself sleep deprived, maybe driving is not the best idea.
yeah, because she's definitely hallucinating too.
If she's seeing cockroaches that are not there, because yeah, she sees it for one scene and they're not there. So
Yeah,
clearly she's seeing stuff.
you're right. She sees the Babadook. She starts screaming. She starts driving erratically. She misses one tree by turning the other way. She misses another tree, turns again. She passes an intersection and smashes into a guy that apparently just bought a brand new car.
Yeah, imagine. I don't know what kind of car it was. I'm imagining it was a Mercedes or a BMW, maybe something more on the
Oh,
pricier side. I don't know. I don't know if you
yeah.
actually can tell what make or model, but he's not a nice guy. Understandably, but generally, your first response in an accident, regardless who was at fault, should be, "Are you okay? Do I need to
Yeah.
call an ambulance?" Not
Sure.
blame, 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 blame.
That's funny. There is a website
Mhm.
for this kind of thing called Internet Movie Car Database.
Okay, okay.
And it looks like I think it's actually a Honda Accord,
Oh, okay, okay.
but okay, but it's a brand new car for the guy,
Yeah,
right? Although her sister apparently owns a Lexus,
okay. Yeah,
2008 a Lexus. Yeah,
we don't know what her husband does, but it seems like he is a highfalutin gentleman with a big
sure,
business career.
right.
It doesn't seem like maybe I don't know. You don't know for sure, but maybe Claire doesn't work. So if you can,
That's the impression I got as well.
yeah,
So yeah, the man's obviously mad about it, and she just not having time with this, just backs up and drives away. She's like,
yeah.
I don't have time for this at all.
As he's yelling, no exchange of insurance information or
Right.
anything like that. So yeah, yeah.
So
Clearly,
now
also
that
something maybe you would do if you were sleep deprived. Just run away from your situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
now parked across the street back at home. She doesn't even have the energy to say hi to Mrs. Roach, who looks very worried.
Hmm.
Then she's sitting in the bathtub, fully clothed. Sam comes in to say that if he needs to, he can call Auntie Claire for help. She grabs him, also fully clothed, and just sets him down.
Just yeah, she's very like kind of despondent. She's not. There's really no affect in her voice. It's kind of devoid of emotion, and
Mhm.
because she's kind of gotten physically. I just want to say in this scene, she's not. She just kind of gently picks him up
Yeah.
and again puts him in the bathtub with his clothes on as well, and he kind of looks dumbfounded and kind of like, what is wrong? So he clearly knows something's going on, and she kind of just clearly is losing it.
Yeah, she's happy that the water's warm.
She does say
Yeah.
that. She does say that the water's warm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So later she's going into bed and Sam joins her, saying that he doesn't think they should stay there for the night. He offers to call Mrs. Roach and she says she doesn't want him to call anyone. She just needs to sleep. He insists and she yells at him again. And so he runs to the other side of the room into a chair and cowers, kind of afraid of her.
Yeah.
She seems to sleep really poorly and wakes up to whispers and raspy breathing. But when she gets downstairs,
He
she
has the phone.
hears he has the phone. He's telling someone on the other end that there's someone in the house. So she grabs the phone. And it's Mrs. Roach saying that he was asking if they could stay the night. She turns on the light. She's saying no, everything's fine, that Sam was just being disobedient. She yells at him again. She tells him to take off the catapult. And then she says, "This is what I have to do to stop you from embarrassing me." And she cuts the phone wire so he
With a
can't,
knife. A
with
butcher
the
knife.
knife. That's right.
Yes.
So he can't make any other calls again.
Yeah. Very
Um,
drastic again. Like it's just totally even keeled. That's what normal people would do. No, no.
right.
She just takes the cord for the phone.
And
And
then
I
he,
can't remember, did she close like blinds or curtains to kind
I
of
think
block
she
off?
does.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting tidbit in the special features. They built the interior of the house all on a soundstage. The outer house was really massive, so they couldn't really cheat on making it a smaller house to save money. But the benefit was that it gave their crew a lot of space to be in to record. But
Yeah.
because there was no real outside, they filmed most of the movie from angles so that you couldn't see out the windows,
Yeah. Okay.
which
Okay.
I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it's just while we're talking about the house, just kind of we've already mentioned there's a basement, but then it's almost like a tri-layer house where it's like not a full story. It's almost like like to get to her bedroom, I believe. It's kind of like a
Sure.
few more steps up from where the child's room is, Samuel. But yeah, being that stuff's in the basement, it's almost like things are buried there.
Oh,
Like
I
you're
like that.
pushing stuff down that you don't want the world to see or know about. Like she doesn't like talking about her husband. All of her husband's stuff's down there. And kind of almost like psychologically, like you have trauma if you either deal with it or you don't. Clearly she's not. She's kind of just trying to hide it away,
Right.
even though the people that she does have in her social life know very well about it. So yeah.
Right. So he says that he's sorry. He just knows that the Babadook made her crash the car. And she says, "What did you just say?" And he, not knowing that she doesn't want to hear it, repeats it again. She says the Babadook isn't real. It's something made up in his head. She ends up yelling at him, pointing the knife at him, and he flinches like she doesn't even realize the knife's in her hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, she locks all the windows, locks all the doors. While she is doing that, he's hiding all his weapons around the house.
Hmm.
And then we see her give him a pill. He doesn't want to take it. She says, "I'm the parent, you're the child, so take the pill." He palms the pill, and when she checks his mouth, she doesn't notice that he's palmed it because he's a
Yeah.
magician.
He's a magician. Sleight of hand, man.
Later, they're watching TV and she's falling asleep. When she looks over at him, he's lying on the couch and she thinks she sees him dead with blood everywhere.
I mean, she does. That's what she does see, right? Not she
Right.
doesn't even
Yeah.
think like he is dead with like a stab wound or throat slits. There's like blood, not super gory, but like blood on him. But then yeah, second take, she looks and he's just sleeping.
Right. Then she notices that she's holding the knife and then she runs to put it away. She's sitting in the chair crying with Bugsy comes over. She picks him up and tries to show him some affection. But as she starts to get near his neck, he starts barking at her and she lets him down. And he continues to growl at her. Um,
Yes.
then she serves both of them big bowl of ice cream and says, "Dig in because there's more where that came from."
And again, like everything was out, and yeah, maybe she put stuff back, or maybe she didn't take stuff out of the freezer. It's unclear.
Yeah, and time passage seems weird for a while here. Later, Sam's asleep again. She's watching TV. She's flipping through channels and she gets on this crazy news report. The report says the police say the woman used a kitchen knife to stab her son. His body was found in the basement. The woman later attacked officers with a knife. They drew their guns and shot her to death. Little
Yeah,
known is about the tragedy, but the neighbors say the boy was celebrating his 7th birthday that day.
yeah, yeah. So perhaps foreshadowing, but it also is like kind of what you saw on the bonus pages of the Babadook when it burned. So yeah, unsettling.
Yeah. Then the TV's electricity seems to short out. The light bulb above her seems to break, leaving her in the dark. She walks up to Sam's room. She hears a distant echoing voice. She hears, "Wake up, mommy." She tells him, "But you're the one asleep," because it looks like he is sleepwalking.
Hmm.
He turns around and walks away slowly towards the basement.
Yeah.
She tells him not to go down there, but she sounds very doubtful in the way she says it. As she's going
Almost
through the
helpless.
door, yeah, she whispers, "It's not safe." But then she goes to follow him, and in the basement, she sees Oscar. She gives him a big hug, saying, "I thought you were dead." And he starts to kiss her. He says, "We can be together. All you have to do is bring me the boy." And she knows right off the back the way he says, "Bring me the boy." She knows something's wrong. She's
Yeah,
like, "You mean Samuel?" And then a demonic voice comes out saying, "Bring me the boy." And then
yeah.
repeats it twice more.
That would be 3 times.
Exactly. The lights start flickering on the ground floor again. More light bulbs burst. She senses someone is behind her. Buzzing grows louder. She sees the Babadook with his hands, claws coming at her. The music grows super intense here. She
Okay.
runs upstairs, putting the chair under the doorknob. She cowers against the far wall, and then it looks like she's sitting next to a chimney. And the hat falls down the chimney, and then she tries
And
to
it
crawl away.
coats. Yeah.
Yeah. The Babadook comes down, and this is where we hit this crazy scene where it just completely goes inside of her.
Yeah.
Now she's watching TV, she's shaking all around, and she's moving kind of jaggedly like the Babadook moves. Sam opens the door to check on her, and Bugsy unfortunately runs down at her. He starts barking at her. Sam can't stop him. He runs downstairs, and in the dark, we see this weird face in the TV that looks like it's influencing Amelia. She gets up, starts choking Bugsy, and then snaps his neck, and then proceeds to pull one of her teeth out. The way that she pulls it out looks super painful.
Yeah, it's probably a scene that takes about a minute or so, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's putting her whole hand back there to pull out. Yeah.
This following scene kind of reminds me again of Hereditary, where she is saying like, "We Bugsy's hurt. We need to get him help." And then when he doesn't open the door, she grabs the top of the door frame and starts using her full weight to kick
Kick
the
it open the
door
door.
open,
Yeah.
which kind of reminds me of in Hereditary when the mom was on the ceiling banging her head. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely something that
Yeah.
the movies have in common is mom's losing it. Different
Um,
reasons, but yeah.
yeah. She is finally able to kick the door down with her feet. She bursts through. She searches under the bed for Sam. When she's doing that, Sam tries to make a run for it from the other side of the room. She lets out this banshee scream before she starts floating towards him, which makes him pee his pants. She
Yep.
calls him out for being 6 years old and still
Poor guy.
wetting himself.
Mhm.
He tells her that he just wanted her to be happy, and she starts mocking him. He throws some more fireworks at her, which make her cower, and he runs for it. She runs after him, making it to his room. He's armed with the weapons.
He
She
has
starts to
his
yell at him.
catapult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also hits her with the dart, the crossbow thing, and then a ball from the catapult.
Yeah, ball to the head and the dart maybe to the thigh, it looks like.
Shoulder, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, the knife goes in the thigh later, though.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. She goes to look for him. There's a knock on the door. When she's there, she sees Mrs. Roach is outside, saying she was just worried. Sam runs and sees that Bugsy's dead, but luckily he doesn't scream. And at this point, because we don't see the end of the conversation with Mrs. Roach, I thought that maybe she killed Mrs. Roach at this point.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure. Then Amelia finds Sam and is apologizing, saying that she understands that he's scared and admits that she hasn't been good and saying that she's sick. She tells him she just spoke to Mr. Roach and she's agreed to let him stay the night. She follows up by saying, "I want you to meet your dad and he'll be happy because it's beautiful there," which makes it sound like she's going to kill him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sam screams loudly and brings a knife over his head and stabs her leg, yelling, "Sorry, mommy," and then runs to the basement. I learned the behind the scenes, they just got a big chunk of meat and put it under the dress to make it look like it was her legs. And so when he stabbed, so it had the real filling effect, he
Oh,
stabbed into a
wow.
bunch of meat and not her legs, which
I'd
I thought
always
was
wonder
kind
on
of
those
cool.
scenes, like I know I read that a lot of the scenes where it's like the verbal abuse from the mom to the kid, like he wasn't there, right? They shot those scenes
Oh,
separately, so he didn't
that
have to
makes
hear that.
sense.
I mean, the
Yeah.
kid looks like he's maybe 10, and it's just a smaller,
No,
you kind of
they found a 6-year-old. They
that can
talked
do
about
that. Okay.
they've talked in the special feature, so they tried to go older, but it wasn't working. And so they did a countrywide search for a 6-year-old that could be in the scenes. And the director told him, "Your motivations are that a monster is coming for you and your mother, and you have to save your mother."
Yeah.
Like that's his role
It's
in the movie.
protection.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what his motivation was.
Yeah. No, I think it worked.
So he ran to the basement. She pursues him. He has a tripwire set up. She stumbles and bumps her head, but doesn't fall down. And then he hits her in the leg with something heavy. It was dark, but so I couldn't really tell what he hit her with.
Yeah, it's all kinds of stuff down there.
Right. She comes up staring at this light. And when she tries to get up, she finds that she is
She.
tied down.
Yep.
Right. Like Gulliver's Travel or Ash in Army of
Mhm.
Darkness.
Yeah.
Sam is trying to say he won't leave her, but as he approaches, she lets out another banshee scream and starts laughing maniacally. He tells her that he loves her, but the Babadook won't let her love him back. She starts to shake like crazy, and when he goes to her, she is able to grab him.
Yeah, one
He
hand
fights
is
for
it's loose.
right. He fights for his life. He starts to rub her face, which causes her to throw up all this like black bile, kind of like Jennifer's body in that kitchen scene. Then she rolls over and seems to pass out. Sam comes over yelling, "Mommy." And this big breath comes in like she's breathing life for the first time.
Yeah.
They hug for a bit before they go upstairs. On the way to the second floor, he looks at her really worried, turns and says, "You can't get rid of the Babadook." And then he's yanked up the stairs. She runs to her room. Sam is thrown against the wall twice. She embraces him on the bed. The bed starts shaking. She screams for it to stop. Then she gets off the bed and it looks like Oscar again. He tells her that he only needs 10 more minutes and she keeps telling him no. She yells for him to stop, Then the Babadook shows her his death again, like his head is sliced in half.
Yes.
And then it starts to grow louder and louder. It starts to make the whole room shake. And Sam goes to hold her. She's screaming, "You are nothing." And the Babadook gets bigger and his arms are spread out. And she yells, "This is my house. You are trespassing in my house," which only makes it grow bigger. The walls start to crack. And then she yells, "If you touch my son again, I'll fucking kill you." It starts to pull Sam towards him, but she holds on and pulls him back while screaming back just as loud as he is.
Yeah.
Stuff around the room continues to break, and then now the Babadook seems to back away. It comes forward slowly and then falls on the floor. She approaches, well, Sam is yelling, "Don't." And the Babadook now sounds like he's in pain. And it jumps. We see this light go into her face as it screams at her really loudly. And then it runs to the basement and it locks itself in there.
Yeah.
She tries to run after it, but the basement door is locked. She
Mhm.
picks up Sam and carries him around the house. But then we cut to them happy outside, talking to Mrs. Roach. And I'm like, yes, she's alive. They're talking about how Sam's going to have a party later that day and Mrs. Roach is going to attend. Then back at home, the Department of Community Service people are back and they're discussing Sam's new school. And then they mention that he's been out of school for 2 weeks. So it's time he gets back. And she says they just need a little bit of time to sort some stuff out.
Yeah. So that's where you kind of get the timeline of the film. Like it's roughly
Right.
maybe a week or so. But yeah, because she blends the time and how Amelia's not sleeping. It's like you don't really know. But yeah, so you somewhere between, yeah, that much time.
Right. And then Prue says that he's having a party and those parties are so much fun when they're yours. And he says that he's never had a party before. The mom's like, "That's not true." And he goes, "Well, it is on the day. I've never celebrated on the day." Prue
And
says
he's
that's
always
a little
shared
right.
with Ruby
Yeah.
before this. So yeah,
Right.
it's technically true. He's never had one on his own. So yeah.
Yeah. Prue says that's a little weird. She says that my dad died on the way to the hospital for me to be born. And Prue looks a little stunned by this. Amelia tells him that he's just like his dad. He always
Yep.
says whatever's on his mind.
So at this point, she's kind of embracing the awkwardness and just kind of handling it much better than being
Yes.
embarrassed by it. She's kind of like I
Right.
said, and yeah, it's truth.
Yeah.
Other people
And
might think
then
that's weird, but it's like, yeah, it's how you got to deal with that stuff sometimes.
and then Sam says that his cousin isn't coming because he broke her nose in 2 places. And then Amelia offers to grab their dishes, kind of like insinuating, "Okay, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for stopping by. You can go now."
Yeah.
Then we transition to her gardening. Sam is practicing with the dart crossbow and he's gotten really good at it.
It's hard to see, but on this rewatch, Lauren pointed out, my wife, as it kind of comes up through the ground, that's where the
Yeah.
dog's buried.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
kind of
missed
it's
that.
dark, but yeah, because it's a white furred dog, and yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of see just it's not gory. It's just like dirt on a
Wow.
poor puppy
Okay,
dog.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of why she's gardening.
Okay. All right. Sure. To cover
Perhaps
up.
I don't know. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Or maybe it's a
Sure.
newfound hobby now that she's a little bit happier. So
I
who
think it
knows?
also brings the worms that they need because
Why do they need worms exactly?
that's what they feed the
Oh, I
Babadook.
know, I know, I know. I'm
Oh,
playing
okay. All
with.
right.
I'm playing with. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So she finds a worm. She tells him to bring over his bowl and points out he has a lot of them.
Hmm.
And then she's going to go down the basement and tells him to wait outside until she comes back up. He says, "When can I go down as well?" And she says, "When you're much bigger."
Yeah.
She gives him a big hug and he goes outside. In the basement, the Babadook comes and starts grabbing at her. She's able to calm him down like a little baby. She tells him it's all going to be all right and shushes him, then puts the bowl down.
Do you
And
see, or is it more like it's in the shadows?
it's in the shadows. I don't think we see it at
You
all.
don't see it at all, right? Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and you because since it kind of took the form of Oscar, you don't kind of don't know
Yeah.
exactly what she sees at this point. If she's still seeing Oscar, but she also saw it as the creepy, scary.
Right. And was it because Oscar's suit was down there? That's the form it took?
Exactly.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it takes the bowl away and eats. She goes back upstairs, and when Sam asks how it was, she says that it was a quiet day. And I'm like, man, that was a quiet one because it was pretty crazy down there. I thought
Yeah. Yeah.
she does
That's
take a
the new
moment,
normal now. That's
right?
the new normal.
She takes a moment to look at the bruises around his neck, and he says they're getting much better. Which I was like, oh, I'm glad the community service people didn't see those.
Yeah. Right.
Then she brings out sandwiches and he uses the sandwich tray that she brings out to do a magic trick. First, she shows a coin And she's like, that's amazing. And he's like, hey, I'm not done yet. Like, wait. He puts the coin on the platter, puts the lid on the platter. When he opens it again, there's a dove there.
Yep.
I'm like, how did he learn that? Which is pretty
Let's not
crazy.
put this away and then serve sandwiches on something else.
Right, exactly. And then the credits roll, and it's in the art style of the Papa book.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, I don't know, you can read it straight up a supernatural entity that came to really knock their world around because clearly she wasn't already in a good state. Now she seems to be in a better state. So maybe the Babadook's actually a good thing to, get people out of their funk. No, 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 I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think it was supposed to be about the power of love overcoming evil.
Okay, okay.
But you're right. It did help them. I wonder how long they would have stayed in that funk if it never showed up.
Yeah. And there's the other
Uh,
thing where it's like just her psyche and she's dealing with the grief and depression of loss. And yeah, it's just opens to so many interpretations. You can kind of read it at a base level. You can get a little psychological. You get to like good versus evil, happiness, sadness. And yeah.
and I talked about earlier. I wanted to talk about my theory on why people don't like it.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Because I do like it a lot. I think it's super creepy. I think when you get to the point at the end and you find out it's basically a child that this mom has to nurture and treat it like a baby, people are like, "Oh, well, that's stupid." Because I've heard people say, "Well, that movie's just stupid." But I
Oh,
think
wow. Okay.
I think beforehand they were terrified, or
Okay.
like it was good. It scared you.
Yeah,
And then when at the end it's a baby, they're like, "Well, that's stupid. I was never scared." Because they are embarrassed to be scared, maybe?
maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know anybody. Everybody I know that's seen this movie. I mean, sure, it's not a big budget film. It doesn't have all the accoutrement
Sure.
that comes with it, the special effects and whatnot. What they do with it is fantastic. I think it
I
gets the
agree.
point across. It does have its scary moments. Again, more subtle scary, more unsettling, kind of unnatural, like uncanny valley type stuff, which often that kind of scares me more than just than flashy
Right.
or Hollywood horror fare.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
but, yeah, I've run into just as many people that like it that don't like it, and I feel like
okay,
people either really love it or people think it's stupid. Like, that's
okay,
literally what I hear people say, "That's just
wow,
stupid." And so, I don't know, that just blows me away. But,
yeah,
I
each
love
their
how
own.
creepy it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
completely. I was glad you wanted to cover it
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
another one of my co-hosts was like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna watch that." I'm like,
Because they thought
"Really?"
it was stupid, or because they.
Because they thought it was stupid.
All right, we can never do a show together with that guy. No, no, I'm
No,
kidding.
no, it would be cool. One day, I think we should get all 4 of us in this thing.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
let's
that'd
do
be
it.
cool. Or is that 5 of us now. Yeah,
There you
that'd
go.
be cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you everybody for listening. We have new episodes every Monday. Hopefully this season 2 will be as amazing as season 1 was. And getting Joseph to join our rotating co-host is
Cast of
amazing.
characters.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what we have next week. We'll figure it out then. But thanks for visiting. Bye.
Bye. So I don't know if you know this side story. Did you know that the Babadook is a queer icon?
I did not know this. What?
So my wife told me about this when we first watched it, but we were kind of like, why? I don't understand after watching it again. Like, how is it? Basically, what happened, at least what from what I'm led to believe on the
Sure.
internets, is that when Netflix put the movie up in the curated LGBTQ plus films, the Babadook was in there,
Okay.
and that's purely why. And
Oh,
then
okay.
people started like dressing up or making a parade.
Stuff.
Yeah, Babadook
Yeah.
stuff, and yeah,
Like Pride
yeah,
Parade stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But with the
Okay.
Babadook was like randomly in there with yeah,
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I've heard of others that are like this deleted scene explains it.
yeah.
Whereas the most recent one is A Quiet Place Day 1.
I've not seen it yet, but yeah.
Okay. Well, one character, there's a deleted scene where he's talking about how his parents are disappointed. They do talk about it a little bit about he could never make anybody happy in his family, so he came to America to try to make something of himself. But there's a deleted scene which says that he was gay and he attempted to kill himself for that. It's never explained when he just pops up. And the very first time we see him, he's popping up from underwater, and we don't know why. Apparently, in the deleted scene, he was trying to kill himself. And
Okay.
for that reason. And it's interesting because now people know, oh, well, this explains a little bit about his character, but it was just edited out of the film, and it doesn't make sense why.
Yeah. I mean, editing
Yeah.
is probably a pretty tough job.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
if you're really attached to the film, so you probably want
Yeah,
your own
exactly.
independent editor. That's I don't give a fuck about this movie. I'm gonna edit, make it have the runtime they need it to be.
Right, exactly.